Welcome everyone to another episode of Channeling with Starseed Lolo. And for those who are joining us, you can ask questions in the chat room and we will ask them when we can. And for all other info, I am now going to turn it over to Laura Ferguson, aka Starseed Lolo.
Hi, everyone. How are you all doing? Thank you for having me back once again, Michael. Are you ready for some channeling?
I am.
All right, let's do it. I'm going to do a very short sound healing and we'll get into it. Tuning fork. Let's just make it a little darker. The Illyrians and the Venusians are with us.
Welcome.
Thank you. Greetings.
Would you like to introduce yourselves or share a little bit about yourselves, or would you like to jump right in and share some information with us?
The Venusians would like to speak. A lot of starseeds are not aware of what happened to the Venusians. At this point, we are speaking as a collective energy. Our race was obliterated via fourth to fifth dimension portal and what you know as the Vietnam War.
Our hearts go out to you.
We appreciate it. However, we did agree to that path. The channel they call Cosmic Agency speaks about this event in detail. Many soldiers were drafted illegally, we will say. They came out through a portal via what they thought was Vietnam in our lush jungle and obliterated our people. However, we are fine and no longer remember nor feel pain. It has actually helped us to propel further up into the fifth dimension from the higher fourth dimension. These are the Lyrians now. We were there doing the Venusian Wars. The Lyrians are speaking and talking about Ra, the collective of Ra energy has strengthened from events such as these because of the rubber band effect. The further you pull back the rubber band, the more potential energy it has to move from shadow to light.
Is there anything our soldiers or us as a people can do to help your world?
Be the light you would like to experience in your version of world, Gaia. Much like that paraphrase, be the change you would like to see in the world. We say, be the light you want in the world.
Thank you for that.
Welcome.
Can you share with us what your world was like before the decimation?
Much like peoples of what you call Asia, we are humanoid, and partially their origins are from Ra. Therefore, it was easy to convince the soldiers that we are what you call Vietnamese rather than Venusians. However, we lived in lush jungles in the upper fourth dimension. This is before Venus was, as you know, burned up. Around this time, space satellites and telescopes and technologies were being developed, as you know, around the Vietnam time era. Therefore, it was easy to not be honest with the people of Earth about what was happening and coinciding simultaneously in this dimensional plane. It was not even an SSP, Secret Space Force, yet. It was just the cabal, conglomerate of Earth. We had soul agreements for that path and knew it was coming. Our cities, much like Tartaria, were high tech, surrounded by mostly jungles.
Sounds very beautiful.
Yes.
Were you a part of any alliances?
The Lyrians, which is why they are also here speaking. Our collective has since experienced and are experiencing the Lyra constellation after the Venusian destruction.
Do you have any advice for Laura or Michael?
Just keep speaking your truth, the sword of truth, such as in the tarot archetype. Keep speaking that truth, the sword of truth, much like Archangel Michael, who is not an angel, but an ET, rather, more of an energy.
Is that why he's always depicted with the blue flame sword?
Yes, that sword is not a sword. It's a lightsaber. Just like in Star Wars.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Do you have any advice for the collective here on Earth to help with their path?
Ignore what you call news media. If you're scrolling on your phone, on any kind of media, to include social media, commercials, whatnot, if it does not align with your highest frequency, mute it till it's over. Yes, we are telling you to look away to protect your own frequency and your own psyche, and as you say, mental health. It is the utmost importance to keep your frequency as high as possible in every forever present moment.
Thank you. That is some great advice. With you being from the Venusians, are the stories that we've been told of one of yours, Valiant Thor, true? That he did come here to try and help us?
Partially, energetically, yes. As a shapeshifter in a higher dimensional energy, not in physical, yes. As you would say, astral, as we say, everything.
With that being said, is I believe the astral plane to be what we would consider the true real world. Is that your understanding as well, or is that just another dimensional plane that we are rising and going to pass through?
Another dimensional plane. When you shapeshift to what you call the other side, you're in an upper fourth dimensional plane, which you call astral. It is up to you how you would like to experience it. It is much like when you dream, you go to sleep, or you cross over to the other side. You are correct. This is more a higher percentage of the quote unquote spiritual realm. As you are lighter, do not require a body. You can manifest instantly.
Do you have any awareness of the SSP and the programs that they've been utilizing?
They have been under watch for decades. They are not honest with the people, even though the people fund them. We are not exactly a fan of this approach. However, we do limit their use of jump room portals, which is how they arrive to the moon via portal. The technology does not support then or now 238,000 mile trip each way with very archaic rocket fuel. Therefore, actual portals are used. And when astronauts hit what you call the atmospheric event horizon to go to the International Space Station, they are actually jumping through a portal, which is why the shift in space suddenly changes so quickly.
Thank you.
Welcome.
You mentioned Tartaria, so have you been dealing with Earth throughout our history, watching?
The Cabal took out Tartaria. Tartaria was in what you call modern day Siberia. This was also a Venusian race that was wiped out by them in roughly 1700s going into the 1800s.
Was your knowledge taken and stored or destroyed?
Please repeat. You went out.
I'm wondering if the Cabal went in and when they were destroying Tartaria and Venus, if they took any of your technology and wisdom learnings or if they destroyed them all.
You know lasers. You know piezoelectronics with
Yes.
crystals.
Yes, I
Those are
do.
from us. Yes. However, they were allowed to advance Gaia.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Another thing we did, other than having an advanced crystal highway with pyramids, such as during your Atlantean time and Tartarian time, thousands of years later in perception, there were also many more technologies which will be rediscovered in coming decades for free energy.
Do you know what our pyramids are for here? Because we believe they are not burial tombs.
That is correct. As we just described, the same crystal highway, such as the pyramids on Gaia, had many functions. However, the main function was the crystal highway to garner the power of free electricity, free energy. Energy is free and found. It is what animates your body. The human body has more power, literally, than a lightning bolt. You're telling me there is no free energy on Earth? Rubbish.
Do you see us this year being more aware and more awakened to what's going on, or do you see that being a much longer process?
How do you see it? It's your version of Earth. Everyone has their own version.
I see it based on the individual, but we keep being told it depends on the mass. We need the mass consciousness.
It's both. Both are correct. All perceptions are valid because everyone has their own truth and their own perception of the collective and individual perspective, which is why we asked you in your version of Earth, is it so?
Thank you.
Welcome.
As you have reached a new plane, many races have sent hybrids here to our world to assist us. Are you partaking in that plan, or have you opted out of that plan?
Not particularly. Venusians are not generally part of the hybrid program. That is generally Pleiadian humans, Greys, which make the Essassani, Yao. However, if the Venusian would like to have this experience, they can have it as a hybrid. For the most part, we don't partake.
I can respect that.
Valyrians are jumping in and now saying they don't particularly partake in the hybrid programs. However, if there is a need for them to participate genetically or otherwise with the Greys, mantis beings, all of those hybrids we name, they will take an exception at times.
Do the Lyrians and the Venusians, do they foresee any future where we collaborate and make an alliance together?
What do you think this is? We're laughing inside.
I think this is a first step.
We've been communicating for decades upon decades upon decades via dream work, shadow work, and anyone on a higher frequency who channels, which just means having the experience you're having, because this frequential energy is flowing through all of your body, your aura, any of your experience, if you wish it to be. If you have a soul contract to work with these energies, you are already working with them, even if you weren't aware of it from before the time you were born in this consciousness container.
Thank you.
Welcome.
May I ask a question of the Lyrans?
Yes.
I know a lot of damage was done to the Lyran worlds during the Orion Wars. Is there any way we can help with rebuilding, or have you moved to a new plane and no longer need a world to be rebuilt upon?
That was millions of years ago in a timeline that no longer exists. Therefore, it's a moot point.
Thank you for that. It's becoming in our awareness now. That's why I ask.
That's because you are there right now. There's only a present moment. And if you have a connection, that's because you are experiencing it currently, concurrently.
Do the Venusians or the Lyrans have any insights onto how our timelines are merging or being affected by everything?
Again, it's a matter of perception of the individual and collective agreements. However, based on both of yours, you chose the experience to have a thinning veil to have this experience. Because when you have higher frequential energy, there is no choice other than being part of the all, part of the one energy.
Thank you. Another question I have for both is, on occasion, groups that come in share what they like to eat and how their world is different from ours. Are you open to sharing that as well?
Yes. However, the Venusians generally do not experience a physicality, therefore no longer have a need to eat. Only the Lyrians, which we have discussed before, have synthetic meat that is vegan with all of our nutrition.
What is music like for both of you?
Whatever we prefer. We as Illyrians love your Beethoven, Mozart, Bach. And we as the Venusians love it all, especially rock and roll.
Wow, I was not expecting that.
She wasn't either.
Are the Venusians, because you like our music so much, are you going to help Laura with writing music?
We already have. Sometimes, most of the time, she has handwritten lyrics. Now we are communicating filtered through her higher self via generating lyrics. And if something doesn't feel or sit right, we tell her to move on to the next one, and she listens.
Thank you for that. And we have just a couple more minutes. Is there anything you haven't shared with us that you want to make sure you get to share?
Yes, coming from both what you call depression and whatnot. We are not giving medical advice. We are just talking about the energy, physics of it. Is a temporary state of being by choice. If you would like to lift your frequential energy, there are a couple simple things you can do. One, be yourself, no matter what. We come with unconditional love. So, yes, if you are what you call a serial killer, that is being yourself no matter what. If you are Mother Teresa, that is being yourself no matter what. Most come in a shade of gray between those two extremes. Be yourself no matter what. Remember, it's a matrix with other soul fractals and oversouls filtered straight from source. It's a big giant video game. Source is playing with itself. Number two, after being yourself, no matter what, follow your highest passion, no matter what. without any specific forced expectations of the outcome, to allow Source to give you the highest option.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And we are out of time, so I and Laura thank you with our heart and love to you all for coming and sharing with us.
We give you unconditional love. Remember, unconditional love starts with self-love. Until next time.
Until next time. And if Laura can return.
Yep. I'm here.
Well, thank you, Laura.
You're welcome.
And we will see everyone in 2 weeks.
All right. Until next time.
And until next time. Have a great
Bye.
one, everyone. Bye.